I'm Mike Trotter, and this is Trotter Farms, and these are my project Turkens. So this is my breed rooster. This is this year's hatch, or last year's hatch, and what I'm going for right now, focusing on, is no feathers on the neck. It started off with a rooster from Tractor Supply that was a Turken but with black skin. He wasn't pureblood. And so I originally got him to start making showgirls and got more interested in the Turken line of it. So I started breeding him to my Samani birds to keep the black skin. And then after that, I took all the naked neck genetic birds, bred back to the original rooster, and that's where this guy came from. And now we are on generation 3, to where I'm getting a pretty good number, about 50% pure, genetically pure naked neck gene, where they have no feathers on the neck, and most are coming out really black skinned. So my new project, if you want to look, this is his full brother, and he's got a lot of the mulberry kind of more red tint, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So that goes to show just the same generation, same parents, different traits. So I'm trying to get as much black skin as possible.
How inheritable is that mulberry skin, would you say? Is that really easy for it to get away from you really fast?
Depending on the birds I keep to breed for next year. So my breeding flock consists of all black skin, so if they come out at all with the red comb or red wattles, they're out of the breeding program right away. And so my offspring this year has been very black skinned because the parents aren't showing that trait at all. So these are a couple of the babies. You can see this one's got way less feathers already than this one. Black skin. So my next, kind of where I'm going with this project, now that I have the genetics of the pure genetic naked neck genes, now I'm focusing more on the black. You can see he's got white toes, white tip beak. So now that's kind of where I'm going with it. This is another genetically pure, almost no feathers on his neck. So now this next generation, as I get the breeding flock of all genetically naked neck birds, I'm going to take them, breed them back to my Samanis to get new genetics back in there, and now focus on black skin, black beak, black tongue, black toes. So that's kind of, once I get the naked neck part down, the pure naked neck gene will give me all naked neck babies, but they won't be genetically pure. They'll still have a tuft in the middle. So then that next generation, I'll be able to get back to genetically pure naked neck after I focus on the skin. So these are the Samanis that they'll be bred to. This rooster will be bred to my Samani hens, and the rooster will be bred to the naked neck hens.
Now, are their combs that much smaller because they're young, or?
They're a little bit of both. Their combs won't get near as big as the Turkens will. These are both still pretty young birds, so they'll grow into it a little more.
And is that something you're planning on breeding towards as a smaller comb, or you're not really worried
I want to
about
keep the big comb.
Okay.
Personally, just it adds to the exaggeration of the project. The more black skin, the better. And ironically, both the Turkens and the Samani are laying cream-colored eggs. So it's a very high contrast egg. Now in the light, you can see how much they get real iridescent. Even the hens will have iridescent to them. So I'm going for iridescent, black skin. Yep. If you want to look at another bird with black skin. Like silkies have black skin as well. So there's 2 naked neck juveniles in there, plus showgirls. And that's first generation, so they still have the tuft in the middle of their neck. Next year, when I breed them back, they will 50% have no skin. They'll be strippers. But again, the original intent was to make showgirls, but I got more into the Turken side of it, I think. So this is my record book. It shows my first generation, my original naked neck rooster, bred to the first generation I am Samanis. So I got 50% came out naked neck, 50% came out regular. But they weren't genetically pure yet. They still had the tuft in the middle. So generation 2, I took the same rooster, bred back to the naked neck hens from generation 1. 25% came out pure blood, naked neck. 50% came out naked neck with the tuft, and then 25% just regular. Generation 3, which is where I'm at now, was my naked neck rooster from this generation, bred back to the naked neck hens from that generation. And now I'm getting 50% pure blood naked neck, and that's all of them that I'm keeping for next year's breeding. Will be genetically pure. And this is my 2 kind of futures, where I'll take this same rooster from this year, bred to I am Samani hens, and then I am Samani rooster bred to my naked neck hens from this generation.
Okay. And from what you've read on the inheritance of the black skin, how does that work in terms of dominance? Is it a multi-gene trait, or how does it seem to appear to you?
I think it's got to be a multi-gene trait, simply because I'll still get the reddish comb. Even in I am Samanis around here, people that advertise them as I am Samani, you'll still start to see the reds, which means they're either not genetically pure or they're very low grade. So I'm still running into that, as far as at least on generation 2, where I was still dealing with whatever that original rooster had in him was still coming through. But now on generation 3 and 4, because I'm breeding black skin to black skin, I've had maybe one or 2 with the reddish comb. So I'm thinking this next generation, because I'm breeding to the high quality I am Samani, I shouldn't have any issue with it at all.
And have you noticed any issues with color leakage in the head feathers or the saddles of the males?
Not the saddles or the head, but every once in a while I'll get a white tip wing. So we'll see after that first molt if it comes back or not. But as far as the breeding flock from this year, has no white on them. And the only color variation would be your iridescence. And these look kind of rugged right now. They're just finished a breeding season and getting ready to molt, so their feathers are getting ready to change out. So these are this year's hatch. There's a couple other breeds in there, but the naked necks are all genetically pure blood naked necks.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, sweetie. And have no feathers on their neck. So these are the ones that I'll be keeping for next year's breeders. Black. So these are this year's hatch. There's some different breeds in there as well, but the naked necks in there are genetically pure, naked neck on both sides, and have very few, if any, feathers on their neck. There's a couple with the white tip wings, I don't know if you can see, but we'll see if I can either breed that out or if it comes out in the molt.
Do you have a size range in mind for these in your final rendition?
Bigger the better. They lay eggs fine. I like them for their meat at this point. It's kind of a novelty item I could sell pretty well. Black meat, black bones, black skin, black organs, black everything. So the bigger bird I can get, the better the carcass weight. That's the one right there with the white tips on the wing, so we'll see. Yeah. So these are The showgirls that we started with, you can see they still have some red skin in them. That's because, you know, to make the showgirls, it started off with a pure blood Turken mixed with the silky, and so you're still getting the original Turken red skin to come through. And so these are the silkies.
Now, if I'm correct, the show standard on the showgirls is to be identical to a silky, except with the addition of the naked neck.
Correct. They have to be
5 toes.
Yep. They have to have the toes. The feather texture has to be silky.
Crest.
Yep.
Comb.
And if you can get the blue earlobes,
Yep.
great. I have yet to achieve blue earlobes. But I'm going more for like the second generation. It'll be this rooster bred back to the offspring of this year's hatch, and I should get 50% strippers, which would be no feathers at all on their neck, but still everything else silky quality. 5-toed, same feathers.
And what you got hiding under the deck there?
So we got Russian Orloff, random red chicken, some cream leg bars. This pen's got cream leg bars and copper marans. And then breeding pens out in the pasture. We've got my Russian Orloff hens. We're getting towards the end of the breeding season, so everybody's kind of getting put back into the general population. This is one of my Samani hens from this year that's really nice.
Yeah, that one that just flew up, that Orloff, that'd be my #1 pick
It's
to
good right
breed.
there with the...
Yeah, the dark one.
And they're all, the Russian Orloffs are super gentle, real nice. No comb on them. They're supposed to be the best winter layer. Don't get the frostbite. I mean, the roosters get big, really big.
A friend of mine has some that actually get double spurred once in a while.
And the yellow leg is the main, you know, keeping the yellow leg.
Yep.
If you want to go around, we can look at some of the roosters.
Okay.
These are this year's cream leg bar roosters. There's a couple poults in there. And then copper marans. I still have to go through and pick my 2 for next year's breeding flock. But they figured out how to sneak through the cat door and eat cat food, so they kind of got put in their timeout cage. And they are the most wasteful birds I have on this place, as you can tell by the pile of feed on the ground. But this big guy here will be one I'll keep. And then probably this guy right here with the yellow leg band.
And like most of your Creole pattern birds right now, they look barred, but as they mature, more of the red tones will come in.
Yep. Yep, and then, I don't know, their dad is around here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll find him. And what kind are these again?
These are Kuni pigs. The only breed that'll fatten on grass. I haven't fed them anything in 5 months, and she's a toad. They will eat eggs. These 2 will be butchered this fall. It's a real sweet meat. They take longer to grow, but they're real tender. These 2, she's pure blood Kuni. These 2, I believe, have something else in them, but for my purposes, they're good.
They're like little marshmallow pigs.
Yep. Yep, they're pretty good grill-sized pigs, too. But they're super docile. My little kids can come out. I don't have to worry about anything. And they're great garbage disposals. Will come out. Any scraps from the house go to either the birds or the pigs. And they don't root. So they're in hog heaven. And this little hot wire is all that it takes to keep them in. And it's off half the time. So these are my game bird trio pens, and I need to make at least 2 more of these before winter hits, but I move them every other day.
What are the dimensions?
Approximately 4 foot by 3 foot tall. Side doors open. And then this also opens.
That drops down?
Yep.
Okay.
And I got my little lights here. They because they're solar powered. They come on at night. This little string LEDs lights it up enough to where I've never had any predator issues.
And what all ones do you have here again?
So there's a sweater pullet in here, a Kelso pullet, a Kelso stag, and a hatch pullet. And this far pin is just, I'm doing a favor to a buddy hatching out some gold lace Wyandottes, so they're going to get moved here pretty quick.
Nice.
So, being a chicken guy, a lot of us can't help but build stuff. So I do meat broilers as well, and I advertise them as cage free. So that means not only no cage, no fence, so I free range them out here. And this is my mobile shade. I got the idea from one of Justin Rhodes' inventions, but I made mine a little longer, a little more detail on it, but I just move that every day, controlled the manure load, and all the birds sleep under there. And then borrowing from Justin Rhodes again for a chickshaw. Again, taking his dimensions and kind of putting my own artistic twist on it, if you could say. I got more of the lights. Real heavy duty wheels, real easy to move. And then my breeding pens, my pasture breeding pens. One's empty right now, this first one. But I usually have 2 roosters to 8 hens. Excuse me. And that'll get moved every 2 days.
Looks like you got this here that opens.
Yep, egg box. Back hatch also opens. It's got shade on it, and it also gives me that much 4 foot more dimension if I had that go all the way to the ground. And then it also helped me build it, where I could build this first, then the cage second, and then attach.
Mm-hmm. And the nice thing about that is it, makes it easier if you move to a new location. You can break this down into sections.
Yep. And I got my oyster shell, water with the nipples, and then feed. That way when I move these, I don't have to pick anything up. I can just move it. And then in here, the Russian Orloff hens. I'll put a rooster with them here in about 2 weeks. They're just kind of on their detox cleanse from all the other roosters. And this chicken coop, I wanted to put stained glass on because I could, so then it kind of became a gypsy wagon themed. But same idea, egg box in the back. Shade underneath. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one I put a sliding door on, so if I need to lock them in here, just unhook it, the door comes down. I originally had air-filled wheels, but they get flat too often, so I replace them with rubber wheels. Same feed system.
And you were telling me earlier that this sets just high enough that you can scoot along the bottom without having to jack the wheels up or anything.
Yep, so I just push this, and then I also put this rubber lining right here, like this. And they use it for door stops in like schools along the bottom. But it gives enough clearance to where the grass you can still go over bumps and cow manure or whatever, and it doesn't snag up, but it also doesn't give the birds any daylight underneath to try to escape from. And then feed, oyster shell, water.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's a solid strip too, because like if it was more of a bristle type thing, I could see the birds picking at that. Yep. And swallowing it. And
yep. And then for the lattice, I did lattices on top rather than chicken wire because it offers more shade as well. The first one I've made, I just had chicken wire on top and they'd never go out in the yard because it was always so sunny, so now they're able to come out throughout the rest of the day.
Did adding the lattice put quite a bit more weight to the whole thing, or not really?
Nah, just because if I was going to put chicken wire, I'd have to put 2 or 3 more braces to hold the chicken wire, and that would add the weight back anyway. And it's overbuilt anyway, so it's already too heavy. But I can move it by myself, which is nice. And right now everything's so dry, I usually move it once a day. But mid-spring when it's nice green, every 2-3 days. And that helps control the manure load, parasite load, and I usually have pasture pigs out here to where I'll move the pigs. 96 hours later is when the fly hatch will happen, and that's when I move the birds in to scrape pig manure out, eat the fly larvae, and kind of control my pests that way.
Good.